What is going on, guys? Evil Tactics here. Today, I want to do something a little different. I want to talk to you guys about what it is like being a tank main and Hell Let Loose at the change of Update 10 to Update 11. Now, as for Update 10, being a tank main was pretty interesting because they allowed for more infantry squads to have more than one guy carrying satchels. And let me tell you, satchels are just downright annoying. They made the AT gun to be level 6, so we saw a lot less of those throughout Update 10. And just all out, a lot of more Bushwookie AT and satchels, you know, as you can see going through here, through these wheat fields. That's just dangerous. I mean, because you never know what's crawling around in these wheat fields, who's got a satchel. Oop, there's a dead squirrel. And a bunch of other stuff. I mean, it's just crazy. If you don't have infantry support, you're dead in a tank. But then again, you can't rely on your infantry to give you really any support. Now, I'm not saying that infantry is completely useless. I mean, sometimes we get games where we have a lot of infantry support, so we really don't have to worry about these AT Bushwookies coming up from behind us and satcheling us and, you know, hitting us at the weak spots. You know, here we see a light tank and, you know, we turn the gun to slowly to engage and kill him. We think he was a solo because he never spotted us, never saw that we were here, so he never disengaged. But yeah, that was always fun, you know. Little moments like this are kind of fun because it's like, okay, we're in a wheat field, we're safe, we're not getting AT'd, we're not getting satchel yet. And, you know, like I said, yet. And what you're about to see here is we try to disengage, but our infantry is so far behind us that they are unable to support. And we end up playing Ring Around the Rosie with this guy. And instead of getting out of the tank, killing him immediately, you know, me being the commander and having the ability to do so, we just played Ring Around the Rosie with him. And it's like, it's moments like this where, yeah, you do wish you had some kind of AT support or some way of throwing a grenade out the hull of the tank, you know, like you saw in the movie Fury. You know, things like that. That would be awesome to have that ability. To have some way of keeping infantry at a certain radius, but only allowing it to be used at a, you know, given number of times or have a cooldown. But I mean, yeah, Ring Around the Rosie. So back to what it's like being a tank main. I mean, it's different because with the not seeing AT guns as much because, you know, you went from level 3 to level 6, so now you've got all these low-level AT guys who are running around with rockets galore, satchels, trying to get their AT levels up. You know, you didn't see many of the AT guns. Now, in Update 11, on day 1, we noticed a major change, major meta change in that aspect because we saw more AT guns, more just all around chaos. You know, guys are smoking up to build these AT guns down the road, and then they're popping in them and just popping you because now they have the ability to damage heavies from the front. You know, the AT guns now have that ability to overmatch frontal armor on heavy tanks. And I don't know how I didn't see this Panther for the longest time. Like, it's staring me in the face. It's because I was more worried about the AT. It's right about now I go, oh, There's a panther there. That was my bad and a failure on my part of being a commander, but luckily the panther can't really hurt the 76. So what is the main differences in Update 10 to Update 11? Well, the Panther, as you just saw go boom, is no longer in the game. It's been removed for rework. Do we have something with smart textures going on with it? And yeah, I have a feeling this Panther's going to come back as the second heavy, kind of like we have the Jumbo 75 on the Americans. The Panther's going to be the Jumbo 75 for the Germans. But I think it's going to come back as a beast. I will say this, I do miss the sound of that beautiful engine. Ooh, Tiger. Hello, Tiger. They were looking for us because where he's looking right now was where we were when we killed that Panther a couple seconds ago. So, we ended up killing the Tiger. No damage taken. And of course, we're pushing through the one field we freaking hate. Wheat fields. Stay out of these if you're in a tank. God. The amount of enemy infantry that is typically prone and crawling through these and just waiting for a tank to roll by. It's madness. But it's fun at the same time. Really, phone? I need to mute that. But, so, what are some major differences here in Update 11 now versus Update 10? I mean, like I stated earlier, AT guns are now a prevalent threat to all tanks, not just mediums, which, you know, I'm happy for. I do disagree with the current layout of it. It seems like the fact that an AT gun can two-shot any tank on the field is a little overpowered. I think an AT gun should 3-4 shot a heavy and maybe 2 or 3 a medium, because here's the problem. The AT gun, and don't ask me what's going on right now. We have all this infantry around us, and we're still getting hit with guys in the wheat field. Like I said, stay out of these. Oh, look, a grenade. I'm not worried about that grenade. But AT guns, and I've tested this, and you can get a shot off, reload, and shoot again in 3.5 to 4 seconds, maybe 4.5 if you're soloing it. But a 2-man run AT gun can get a shot off every 4 seconds, while your tank is stuck to in between a 7 to 10 second reload. The 76 is actually a little quicker on the reload versus like the Tiger. So obviously in a tank battle, one of the biggest things when going up against a Tiger or going up against a 76, whichever it is that you manage to be piloting at that time, whoever gets the first shot wins, typically. Or you have the moment where the guy in the other heavy tank is just a bad shot. But if they know what they're doing and they're a half-decent tank crew, whoever gets that first shot is going to make or break the decision of that engagement. And 9 out of 10 times, it's that first shot that wins. Now, as you can see here, we're just shelling out, taking care of infantry, trying to help support this push. And, you know, that AT guy couldn't aim worth a damn. I don't know if it was our tank shell going to the face or, you know, just not knowing where to aim at that kind of distance. But, you know, we're keeping our ass to this wheat field, which is going to come back to bite us in the ass, quite literally, here in the next few moments. But what is, what's it like now in Update 11 versus Update 10? There was a ricochet. Well, tanking has now changed. The meta has changed. Now, while yes, it is still very early since Update 11's launch to figure out what that new meta is, here is what we have noticed since Update 11 has released. The new meta for tankers and just being a tank main is medium tank engagements are now back. They are now a thing. It is a beautiful thing because with the way fuel cost goes now is you've got your medium tanks that cost about 200 fuel. Then you have these half tracks, which are mobile garrisons, and those are 300 fuel. And we had one match where someone was asking the commander, like it seemed like almost every 2 minutes, for another half track. And we're sitting here going, no. Ooh, Tiger. That's 300 fuel per spawn. We're not even going to have enough fuel to spawn heavies to deal with Tigers like this one. Like I said, first shot off gets the win. Now, luckily, he wasn't even aiming at us. He was dealing with infantry around. Something went boom to our right. We don't know what that was. But that right there was a perfect example. First shot wins. Now, like I said, luckily, he wasn't even looking in our direction, didn't even know where that shot came from. But back to what I was saying is, half tracks now cost 300 fuel. Heavies, so your 76 and your Tigers are now 600 fuel. I think the Jumbo 75, while it is considered a heavy, I think that one's around 500, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, the Panther's going to come back, and that's going to be the equivalent of a Jumbo 75 on Germany. But we've had games where guys are spawning in half tracks left and right, and we're sitting there going, great, now we've got no fuel to deal with these heavy tanks that are pushing the point. So that's definitely one of the meta changes, and that's going to be one of the things that I think is going to get rebalanced. I think half tracks, since they're mobile garrisons, instead of costing fuel, they should cost manpower, just like, the airdrops. And just, oh man, it's beautiful. And then of course, now you got the Panzer IV, which we took out the day Update 11 launched, and dude, she's fun. She handles so smoothly. She's just a good all-around tank. We haven't tested to see what her Achilles heel is yet. It was like the 76 and the 75 and the Shermans. They have an Achilles heel, and so does the Panther and Tiger. But it's just figuring that out. And of course, now that AT guns are now back and now a thing, we saw a lot of AT guns on a lot of these maps, and it's crazy. Because before, an AT gun was just a nuisance to a heavy tank. It threw off your shots. Enemy team could be hitting you with the AT gun, giving their Tiger time to get in a position and hit you, and then by the time you're turned onto that Tiger and engaging, you're still getting hit by that AT gun, so it's throwing your shots off. But I'm glad the AT guns are back. I'm glad they're a viable option for infantry to take and set up and whatnot. That's awesome to see. So I'm very happy for all of that. So now we get to the section of, is running a solo tank or a two-man tank still viable in update 11? Coming from the perspective of people who run constant three-man tank crews or a constant two-man until our third man is online, do I think it is viable to run a heavy or even a jumbo 75 or a medium as a solo? No, I do not. I don't think it's viable. I don't think it should be done. Because here's the thing. You're hurting your team in more than one way. You're taking out a tank that has 3 spots for a reason. And those 3 spots need to be filled. Because as a solo, you're running primarily 90% of the time in that tank in the driver position. You have no commander up top to spot for you to see if there's a threat on your left, right, rear, forward, whatever. And you have no gunner. You now have to stop when you find something, switch to command or gun, find that target, and then shoot at it. At the same time, you don't know if you're being engaged from the side or from the rear because you don't have a commander. So, not real feasible unless you're going to sit in the back of the map and just snipe with the dang thing. But still, you can't see any threats coming at you from the sides or the rear without a commander. Now, a two-man is very possible and works. Me and my buddy Killer do it all the time. You know, our third man's not on yet, and we're just, we're tankers. That's what we do. We have no problem running a two-man tank because while we're heading to the point, what happens? He gets in, gets the motor going. I jump in. I get AP loaded. Then I jump to command. He drives us to a point. At the same time, I'm looking around in command trying to find these threats and to pinpoint these threats. Now, if we're able to stop the tank and for him to jump from driver to gun while I stay in command, we will do that if we have the time. If we don't have the time and the threat's directly in front of us, I will jump out of command into gun and neutralize the threat. But a lot of the times, we won't just sit in one spot. We're constantly moving. Now, there are moments where running a two-man, you have to quickly jump out of command, jump into drive while your driver is now gunning because you need to reposition because you got a, like let's say a Panzer IV or a Tiger pushing you from your right flank. Well, you saw that as command. You know the number. You're going to tell them, gunner 283, load AP. He knows, tank 283. So when the tank turns and he gets 283 in his compass, he knows, all right, here we go. Now, running a three-man, I think, is the best way to do it. It's really the only way to run a tank efficiently because you've got your driver who's got a whole gun who can do what he needs to do. You've got your gunner who's got the main gun and a coax who can do what he needs to do. Then you have your commander who has the ability of jumping out of the tank with a submachine gun to deal with any close infantry threats. They really need to give us the commander's gun. Oh, give me the 50 cal, please. But that's my thoughts on running tanks and what Update 11 now has in store for us. I am very excited for it. Can't wait to get some more, and there's going to be a lot more content coming out showing Update 11. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. We're trying to grow the channel. I would love to have 100 subscribers by the end of December. I know that's asking for a lot. And if you ever want to game with us, make sure you join that Discord, and we will be more than happy to get some matches going. And who knows, you might make it into a video being either the gunner or the commander or driver. So with that being said, guys, have yourselves a wonderful day. Stay healthy. Be vigilant out there on the battlefield. And we'll see you in hell. Thanks for watching.